country back!
There is a magma chamber of anger sat underneath British society right now.
Britain's been shifting to the right. I've spent the past few months trying to understand what's happening in this country.
No one speak to the media here.
Attending far-right protests, including Unite the Kingdom, one of the biggest far-right rallies ever on the streets of the UK, where tens of thousands responded to the call of this man, anti-Islam activist Tommy Robinson, a convicted criminal turned anti-establishment figure.
Are you ready for the Battle of Britain?
But it's not just on the streets, and it's not just the extreme right that's on the up. The populist right-wing party Reform UK, led by longtime Trump ally Nigel Farage, made massive gains in local elections in May. This rightward shift isn't one single movement. The different groups represent different shades of right-wing politics, but they all seem to be feeding off of a divided Britain. At the heart of those divisions is the issue of migration. Just this week, a horrific attack by a Sudanese refugee on the streets of Belfast almost immediately turned into the latest "I told you so" moment for the far right, transforming a local tragedy into a national rallying cry. Powerful allies amplifying the message and fanning the flames of hate.
People in Britain are angry.
Joe Mulhall infiltrated far-right groups undercover here in the UK and in the US. He's one of the UK's top experts on these movements.
You know, if you look at the way that people's lives have been, lack of jobs, houses, schools, hospitals, stagnated wages, living standards going down or stagnating for years and years, and they feel that mainstream political parties have not met their material needs. What the far right are really good at is going to those people, and they turn up and they say, you're right to be angry, and they give them a scapegoat and they say it's because someone has come to this country and taken it from you. They're really good at redirecting people's anger from where it should be directed.
I've seen exactly what Joe's talking about. There have been hundreds of protests across the country over the past year, according to activists tracking far-right movements. It's mostly been about migration and how consecutive governments have dealt with this issue. And with the center-left Labour Party back in power for the first time in 2 decades, the far-right senses conditions are ripe for a resurgence. It's in tight-knit communities like this one, in the sleepy market town of Faversham outside London, where we saw it all play out late last year. Walking through town with a protest organized by a far-right activist, you see those divisions and feel the anger.
Hey!
Shame
Don't touch me!
Shame on you!
Shame on me! You know, you die.
Right now, they're marching towards this facility where unaccompanied minors, asylum seekers, have been housed in this town.
They're a loud crowd, but it's clear they're more noise than numbers. And you do see locals coming out to confront them.
No hate, no fear. Refugees are welcome here.
The main event kicks off with a rambling mix of racist rhetoric, fear-mongering, and white supremacist conspiracy theories.
They're teaching about Muhammad and Allah. We will not tolerate our children to be taught about LGBTQ and what pronouns of belief, what they can identify as. We will not tolerate that round here.
Keep up the pressure and one day you will be victorious!
At this one tiny town's protest, we find one of the leaders of the UK's extreme right.
Our country's been taken over by mass immigration. We're fed up. This is not the future that our grandparents and great-grandparents fought for in 2 world wars. They didn't fight for this to be done to our country. We want our country to be like it was before this immigration invasion was foisted on us. Yes. You mentioned far-right, neo-Nazi, all that a minute ago, as if that kind of stuff, that doesn't hold any power anymore. You must have learned this with Trump's victory. No one cares if they're called a racist anymore. Those terms are just used to silence people.
The re-election of Donald Trump is not only an inspiration for this one extreme right figure. At every far-right event I've been to, it is a constant theme. Trump's Make America Great Again has come to the UK.
USA!
This is mega. Make England great again.
He's the man. Trump is the man.
I have so much respect for President Trump. He is saving not just America, he is saving the West and he's saving the world.
You're wearing this because
I'm a Donald fan.
what is it that's going on? How much of this is really influence from the US?
There's no question there's a huge influence. When the far right is small little fringe political parties, that sounds fanciful. When you've got Donald Trump in the White House, the most powerful man in the world, they can then point to someone and say, look, it's happened there. If it can happen there, it can happen here.
Are we headed into a direction where the far right is turning into a significant political force in Britain?
I think there's no doubt about it, right? The far right is no longer something that sits on the very margins of our politics in Britain, an annoyance to the right. It is increasingly something that actually has the real chance of taking power in Britain.
The once fringe voices seem to be moving into the mainstream. It's a small but vocal minority that's threatening to change the face of Britain. Now they believe their moment has arrived.